It's exciting. So
Yeah.
welcome everybody to the Daily Intimacy. Yeah. So nice to see everybody here. It's beautiful, as we were talking about before we started, the weather, the things, some of the things happening in the world. So good day to be here, good day to celebrate. And let's do that by starting with a centering. So I just invite you to have a breath and gently close your eyes. And some sound, some sigh as you exhale. Just give yourself a moment to let go of anything that's, I don't know, just still there from sleep or from any early morning thoughts. So I invite you to breathe in, deep, deep, deep breath, and then exhale. And again, deep, deep, deep breath in through your nose. And exhale. Good. Let's have you bring your hands right to your heart, unless you're driving. If you're driving, just feel your heart. And bring a smile. Smile to your face. If you are one who's hearing the sounds, just allow those sounds to bring you more deeply to that inner smile. Montauk Chia teaches the inner smile. So breathing in with a smile on your face, allowing that energy to permeate your whole being. And welcome yourself to this moment. And if you're here for the first time, which a few of you are, welcome. Welcome to the Daily Intimacy, which happens once a week. So if you haven't put a smile on your face yet or hands on your heart yet, please do. Hands on your heart, smile on your face, and breathe in. And just notice when you smile that it lets more sunshine in. And notice that the mind wants to take you away from the smile, that it's hard maybe to sustain it. And so this is a practice in sustaining the smile, sustaining the energy, tolerating it. Continue to breathe in, feel that joy. Feel whatever comes to you when you smile. It's different for all of us. And another deep, deep breath into the belly. Allow the belly to expand and open. Exhale. And release the hands. Gently open your eyes. Come on back. Yeah, if you're here for the first time, welcome. And I see Sue is here for the first time, and Greg. And yeah, a bunch of people. And so if you're here for the first time, please say hi in the chat if you would like. We'd love to welcome you. And also what we do is we say where we are residing in this moment, and then scale of 1 to 10, how you're feeling. And so it just gives you a chance to check in with yourself. And also Marcy and I a chance to just kind of have, know how you are. So yeah, and you might look around, you might scroll on your screen just to see who's here. There's some faces we haven't seen in a long time from Tantra community and in-person workshops. So really nice to see you guys here. Okay, today we have a new friend, but a soul sister. Marcy Neumann joining us. Marcy, you have had, I'm just really learning about your journey. I know you are doing incredible things in the world and bringing an incredible amount of love and light out there in pretty significant ways. Like, I don't know what you were doing before, but now you're up front and center, which is really wonderful to witness. Marcy actually interviewed me. We did a podcast recently, and that was really an amazing conversation.
Yes, it was.
You guys will have access to that next week. But yeah, that was really beautiful, really powerful. So Marcy's on the journey, same as me, bring love into the world, help our hearts open more deeply, our lights shine more brightly. And you're bringing something specific today that you've called HeartShifting, and I'm really excited to learn more and just to hear, more. I know this. I heard some about how you've stepped into the Tantra piece, but it's so much, bigger than that. So anyway, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Robyn. And thank you everyone for taking your precious time to be here with us this morning. There is this incredible energy that I'm feeling already, and actually started feeling it before we came on together today. And I am feeling my heart just already so expansive. And so I want to invite you to come into this journey with me. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and how I arrived at where I am today. But I also want to invite you to start to tune in energetically to what you're feeling as Robyn and I are speaking this morning. I think that this is one of the most significant and important gifts that we have, and that we have these chemical and energetic systems that are already within us that give us all the information that we need in terms of resonance. And so what I'm talking about this morning, heart shifting, is actually the culmination of my work. And I've been in this field for nearly 45 years. It started back in the early 70s as a young graduate nurse. The same time, I had always had this really strong connection to metaphysics from a young girl. And so while I was in nursing school, I had the opportunity to enter into an ordination program. And so the same year that I graduated from nursing school, I was also ordained as a spiritualist minister. So I was trained in hands-on healing, energy medicine, mediumship, and channeling. And you may think, oh my goodness, what a strange combination for a young graduate nurse to have. And yet, I'll tell you, it opened doors for me in ways that, from my contemporaries, they just didn't have access to. And it became very clear that a lot of what I was here to do was to be a liaison between those two worlds, the world of conventional medicine and healing and the world of metaphysical healing. And for those of you who are here, I know that you also are drawn to the world of metaphysics. That is the energy that Robyn speaks so much of, and all of her guests are in this same sort of vibrational frequency, that we are understanding that so much of who we are actually exists in the realm that we cannot see. And so we're called into this realm through our mechanisms, through these systems that actually are at the core of our being. And they, of course, are connected to our energy being. And so one of the things that drew me to Tantra was I had this recognition that Tantra actually, although it may appear to connect us on a physical level, we're really going into that deeper core of beingness where we are on this journey of intimacy and authenticity, because we have been created to be this almost liaison between our own worlds. So we connect body, mind, and spirit. And so heart shifting is the culmination of these 45 years where I have been blessed to work with people all over the world and helping them to heal their hearts. And this awareness really started to come to me very early on. And it's kind of funny that as a graduate nurse, I worked in the open heart unit of the hospital. And so all of my patients were open heart patients. And I noticed that they all had this commonality. I'm actually feeling very emotional right now. Like, the commonality was that before their surgery, their hearts were closed off. There were aspects of their lives that they were not connected to. And it was those aspects that had prevented them from really sort of claiming life and all of the beauty and the joy that was there for them in order to be fed from and sustained from. And so people used to ask me, Marcy, how do you stand working nights? Because as a graduate nurse, that was, of course, where they stuck me, right? I loved it. And I would go from room to room talking to my patients about life and about how they could expand their awareness of life and live life differently when they left the hospital. And what I was privileged to witness was a complete metamorphosis. It was so rare that somebody would leave that unit the same person that they had come in as. So there's something quite significant, I think, particularly in that metaphor, right? Where things have gotten so bad, they have to crack your chest open and manually manipulate your heart and bring new energy into your circulatory system where it has been blocked, and try to bring as much energy in so that your heart on a physical level can function the way it is meant to. So, as we know, there are no coincidences in life, right? And again, I'm learning all of this from a very different perspective from the other nurses in my unit. And I'm looking at it from a perspective, how can I learn from this? And of course, what can I teach? What can I share with them? Well, what happened before long was that the patients' families used to request permission to come in and spend the night with their patients to be a part of these conversations. And very often we would have to meet in the visitors' lounge because there were so many people who wanted to talk about this. And then what happened was they opened up like a kind of like a step down unit where it was now post open heart and neurosurgery. So now I had patients who were there because there were issues in their brains, and the neurosurgeons had to do surgery to essentially do the exact same thing that was being done in the open heart surgeries. This did not escape me. It did not escape me also that these patients were being brought together in the same unit. And so, of course, I was placed in this unit, and I was placed now as a charge nurse. And so I started to create these programs where both the patients and families could start to really talk about how essential it was to shift from living in their heads to living in their hearts. Now, this was back in the 70s, okay? So if you can imagine, as we know, when we are working with the energy of love, it is so expansive, and it begins really its own journey through us of extending out. And so I was very privileged in being asked to create a number of programs through my career as a nurse. And so I worked with traumatic brain injured adults. I worked with creating outreach programs in the largest hospital system on Long Island, creating actually a healing circle where people from the community could come in. I had Reiki practitioners. I had co-founded a Reiki practitioner organization on Long Island, and it was now very clear that the merging of these worlds was very important. So at one point, it was also clear that my time working in the medical community had really come to an end. As much as I loved it, and I loved working with the patients and the different organizations. But what happened was, and this was through hospice as well, there also was this other factor where integrative medicine, or you might call it, initially it was called alternative medicine, but it was actually integrative medicine, and we were developing these programs in the hospitals. They started to create some fear in the medical community, that the medical community itself might have to shift, might have to change. Well, we of course know that of course it needed to, right? This was pretty evident. But I also realized that for myself, the work that I was there to do was really being called to go through doors that were open for me. My days of pushing against doors were over. And so I went into the private sector and just started to do essentially the same things, creating these programs. But I was very conscientious in making certain that whatever organizations or people I worked with were welcoming me wholeheartedly, because it's how I could deliver to them what I had come to deliver. And that was really when HeartShifting was born. It was, for lack of a better term, it was a moment of realization for myself, where I was actually on a journey of self-love. And that the huge catalyst for really the universe just sort of laying itself at my feet was that I made a commitment to myself based on what I wanted to live, what I wanted to deliver. So of course it required that I accept that this was not just my mission, but it was the basis of all my joy. It was the basis for my soul's expansion, and that I had an obligation to it. And I'm saying this because, again, I know that you're here for a very specific reason. You are here also on this very same journey of self-love. And so in order for us to fully embrace who we are, we have to accept certain things. One is we are energetic beings having this experience as humans. And I know that you've heard that probably 1,000 times before, but what does it ask of us? It asks that we start to create a conscious awareness of when we are in alignment with that question, and when we are out of alignment. And so, like A Course in Miracles talks about all experiences coming down to just two things. And that is that it's either a call for love or it's an answer to the call. And so it was this realization that I had that if indeed I was here to do this, that it necessitated that I stop pushing against anything and rather start to open my own heart so that I could receive. Because what I started to recognize is any time that I was actually pushing against, right? Pushing against the hospital administration, pushing against anything that wasn't accepting of what I was there to share, that my energy being was actually contracting in order to push. I was pulling in my energy and pushing out. And what I had learned about the heart was that we need to increase the circulatory system of the heart so that the heart can fully function. Now, knowing that I was actually an energy being rather than just the physical form or just the mental form, it said to me that my work then was in helping people to increase the circulatory system of their heart chakra, the actual core of their being, because it was the very center where the divine self is evident within us. It is our connection to source energy. What I also realized was that once I started to position myself in exactly that way, where I became loyal to my heart, loyal to the direction and the guidance that I was getting from my higher self as I opened my heart more and more and more, was that I shifted moment by moment, vibrationally, based upon the energies that I was choosing. So all of this was the birthing of this program, this system. And if you're open to it, I would love to take you through a very simple process of heart shifting. And so before we begin that, I want to explain to you what it is that we're doing. So those of you who know about the chakra system, you know that the heart chakra actually has two chambers. One is the inner chamber, which is the energy of the divine. This is completely uncorrupted. This energy is pure, it is integrous, and it is there for us to be able to feed our life here. Okay, we are a direct extension of that source energy. The outside chamber of that is what I look at as kind of like a triage center. So, of course, because of my medical background, that's my orientation, right? I look at it as a triage center. So, what might accumulate there? Well, what might accumulate there are denser energies that cannot align with that light, with the high vibrational frequency of pure love. Where do they come from? They come from experiences where rather than loving yourself unconditionally, accepting yourself as an extension of the divine, you bought into the false beliefs that perhaps were part of your conditioning, part of the way you were raised, the result of the society, the culture, the family, any kind of outside influence, because that is the only place that that can come from. any false belief that you are anything other than this extension of this pure energy of love comes from the outside. It is not natural to you. Because it's not natural to you, that outside chamber of the heart holds it. And many of you who perhaps, came in this morning in the chat and were feeling less than whole, maybe you're experiencing some of the weight of the world, some of the denser energies that actually have come with you this morning, asking to be released, asking, we use the word healed, but it's more of a letting go. And so right now, you may also be experiencing some fluttering around your heart, or maybe a little bit of anxiety, or just a little angst. And if so, I want you to know it's because the particles of these energies are like waving their hands and saying, pick me, pick me. Because all energy is of the source and it wants to go back into the light so that it can be utilized to manifest joy, peace, creativity, abundance, prosperity, anything that is of that wave of energy of the highest vibration. So what we're doing is we're first going to isolate one of those energies. And so I'm going to ask you, if you have a pen and paper, to write down something that you've been carrying. If it's been there a long time, there may be a lot of density attached to it, and you may have judgment about it. You may actually feel anger, when you think about it. Maybe it's a person, an actual person, or an incident, or one of those false beliefs that you have about yourself that you feel has prevented you from stepping into your purpose or from being whole. I'd like you to just write it down. Take a moment, identify that. Don't be afraid to give it a name. Don't be afraid to describe it so that you know exactly what it is that you're talking about. So I'm going to ask you to just close your eyes for a second and allow yourself to go there. See it, feel it. It's okay. It's what you're here for. And it's what that is there for. It's asking for you to do this. And I just want to see in the chat when everyone has that, they know what they're working on. Just give me a yes or give me thumbs up. Okay. Okay. All right. Here we go. The purpose of this process is for you to release this energy so that you can begin to live life fully, so that those parts of your heart that were closed off can start to feel itself expanding again, giving and receiving love. This is vital. The purpose of this is to raise your vibrational frequency so that your perspective comes from that higher place and you begin to create this magnetic force that will bring to you all things that are of that same vibrational frequency. I invite you to close your eyes. And I am taking this journey with you. as I close my eyes, I invite you to join me on this journey of heart shifting, the energy that is waiting for us to reclaim it. And so take a deep breath in. And as you do, know that this breath comes to you from this endless sea of love that has no beginning and no end, as you have no beginning and no end. You are here, an extension of this source itself. And how brilliant it was to make certain that every breath that you breathe in, you are reconnecting, reuniting with this love that serves you. It comes to you with one purpose only, and that is to love you and to love through you. And so this endless sea comes to you with endless waves of love. And you begin to feel these waves as they move through you, moving through all the dimensions of your being, washing through, and of course, washing out. For every breath that you release, you give back to this source of love, and that is its fulfillment. For all of love must be given and received. All of love is fulfilled as you say yes to love. And so with your next breath, if you're ready, see yourself stepping forward, saying yes to love, inviting love in, knowing that you needn't tell it where to go or what to do, for it already knows exactly how to love you. It knows waiting for it are trillions and trillions and trillions of pathways that have been established by all of the trillions and trillions of breaths you have taken before from this very same endless sea. And each and every one of them is opening now, opening to receive this love, to receive the waves of love that know exactly where to go and what to do. And they begin to travel through all of these pathways without any judgment or conditions or expectations. Their mission is so clear. Their mission to love you wholly, completely. And as it does, all that it collects, any debris, any density, and those outside waves simply are collected upon the wave and brought back to the heart of Source itself, transformed immediately, alchemized. And so with this next breath, feel yourself stepping closer still. Feel the warmth, the welcome, the absolute delight of that source, knowing that you are now inviting it in. It has been waiting for you. And so as you breathe this directly into your heart, give it permission. Give it permission to move right up into your mind's eye. For it is your mind's eye that receives its information from your heart. It is your mind's eye which is in service to the heart and all of your heart's true yearnings. And so as you give permission for the light of this love to travel through, you begin to see unfolding before you yourself, still in body form, walking through these streets, perhaps cobblestone under your feet or a smooth surface. But the shops all are very curious. They have many unusual signs and welcomings. These shops are filled with all of the curiosities of life, all the wonders and the awe. And yet you're still drawn. And as you turn the corner, you see before you this magnificent sign, the apothecary. And you can't help but wonder what that might be all about. From the outside, it almost seems like the building itself glistens with light. And any hesitancy that you have is quickly overcome by this sense that all is well. You are perfectly safe to enter in. In fact, you almost can't help yourself. There is something so compelling. The apothecary, how interesting. And as you walk in, you realize immediately, this is why you're here. For even though there are many others just like you, everything is very calm and peaceful. And you see that there are many behind the counter, many guides, many clerks, all huge smiles on their faces, each and every one of them so happy to be of service to you. And of course, a spot opens right up and you walk right up to the counter. And immediately your guide is right there directly in front of you. Thank you. We have been waiting for you. And hands you a slip of paper. And on it you see is your name and the day you were born and the time. And the rest of the paper is filled with these colors, almost like blotches of ink of all different colors and consistencies. Some of them are smooth and some are fibrous, and there are contrasts, and you notice that immediately. And you look up and you see nothing but this bright smile. And then you begin to notice behind you there is an entire wall of jars with all kinds of labels on them. And even though it appears that they are empty, they are filled with vapors, energies of all kinds. Some of them match those that are on your paper. And in that moment, you have a realization. You have found and have been found. You are in the right place at the right time. All is well. And right at that moment, another guide presents themselves in front of you and simply says, "Follow me." And as you do, without any hesitancy whatsoever, The path is clear, it's wide open. And you see that you are being led to walk through this doorway. And the doorway is quite unusual. It's very ornate, and there are soft lights flashing all around it. And your guide simply invites you to take another breath in. And as you do, you feel all of the warmth and the wholeness, the fullness of that breath entering within you in a completely different way than you have ever experienced before. And suddenly you find that you have walked over that threshold. Only now, as you look at yourself, you see yourself. You also are formless, and yet you still carry the form. But you have become zillions of crystals, crystalline particles of light. And you can feel them all communicating with such excitement. And you are led into a room that you are perfectly at peace, perfectly at home in, and brought to a beautiful chair, a lounge chair, reclining. And as you nestle in, you feel yourself being completely embraced, and love itself is permeating every breath in this room. And very soon, another guide comes along with a cart. And this cart holds all of those jars of energy that match the ones on your paper. The guide takes a lid off the first, and you notice that it's labeled as compassion. The one rule, of course, is that you must reach in. You must select. And there are no limits. You can take as many helpings of that compassion as you need. And you do. And you simply know, of course, exactly what to do. And you place it upon your heart, very gently massaging it in, feeling your heart opening to receive this compassion. And then the next jar is opened. And perhaps it's empathy, or it's tenderness, or it's acceptance, or kindness, or generosity. And you go one by one, simply selecting according to the formula that's on your paper. And there are no limits. You can take as much as you need until you feel the softening of your heart. And then there are more. And these are in direct response to the softening. Happiness, freedom, joy, connection. And you are completely in charge. You choose which ones How much? How many? And all of a sudden, you begin to realize that your heart is able to expand and take in even more breath. The parts of your heart that felt like there was no light, no elasticity, or no flexibility. Suddenly, it's expanding. Parts of your heart that maybe even felt like there were glass shards or there was a minefield, it's suddenly soft. And the light is reflecting back. And now all the jars that were on the card had disappeared, except there is one. Only this jar has two labels. Love, and underneath it, there is a subtitle, At 1 Mint. And of course, you know exactly what to do. And you reach in both hands. And you place both hands upon your heart. And all of a sudden, whatever separation there was between your inner heart and the outer chamber has dissolved. And perhaps for the first time in a long time, you start to feel your heart functioning at a greater capacity than ever before. A heart that cannot be contained. And all of the love and all of the light that is within it begins to expand out and extend all on its own. And everywhere you look, you see the creation that pops up into all the dimensions of your life, born of these extensions. And now you know your time here. Your time here has come to an end, but the love just continues to expand and extend out and out and out. And of course, it knows exactly where to go. And any areas of density, any areas that are perhaps closed off, the light simply lingers and waits for it to reach. And now you know exactly how to help it to do so. And so your guide lifts you up and accompanies you now through yet another threshold. And you walk eagerly through it, and suddenly on the other side, you are in your physical body, exactly as you started. And you can feel your feet, and you start to move them around, saying, I know where I need to walk. And you move your hands, and you know exactly what you want to reach for. And so you wiggle your fingers, and you open and close your hands. And you feel yourself breathing, taking breath in and breathing it out. And you feel full and whole and complete. And suddenly you realize that all of the light that is around you is radiating from within you. And even though you are in your physical body and you feel it, you see your own light. And it's not behind you, it's before you. In fact, it precedes you wherever you go. And now you see yourself right back in your room. And you feel the chair beneath you or whatever you're sitting on, lying on. And you feel the presence of all around you. And most of all, you feel the presence of this love within you. And now it is time to just gather up all that you've seen and heard and felt and just send it out into the universe that's waiting for your wisdom, your love, and your light. And then just feel those waves coming back, stronger and stronger than ever before, and yourself effortlessly returning. So take a deep breath in, breathe it all the way down to your feet and feel them firmly planted on the floor. Feel yourself completely connected in all of your parts. Come back. Open your eyes. And take that piece of paper in your hand where you had written where you had been separate. And tell me now.
Hey, good morning.
How that feels to you.
I'm
just checking in because I do need to call her. I have everybody.
Can share in the chat or let us know that you'd like to share.
You can put me in the chat if you'd like to share. Not me, but you.
What has shifted? How do you feel differently about what you had written down? How do you feel about yourself? How do you see yourself? What has shifted?
Richard says I'm more relaxed. I'm like in a whole other state. I can barely speak. So I'm going to let others. Anybody want to share in the last couple minutes, minute or two? Just yeah, we've got some shares in the chat. Released fear, more relaxed, heart expansion, more secure and loved. Beautiful, Sue. Margaret said before she left, I think, I can't wait for the recording on this one. I'll repeat this exercise when I'm not working. Excellent guided meditation. Thank you. I feel tender and raw. No words yet. Yeah.
And so I invite you. I invite you to know that this is within you. It is your choice. Each and every moment of every day, you have the choice to feed the energy of your nemesis, your point of separation, your point of pain and suffering, or your point of all of the aspects of love that are there to feed and reconnect you to the source of all that you are. You will find that your entire day will be different. It creates a different lens that you look through. You are in a higher vibrational frequency than where you started. As you feed this energy, you become a magnet for this energy of love, and everything will shift around you. People will ask you what you have done, what you've eaten, what you have They'll want what you have because you are a walking, talking, live expression of love and reconnection to source. And you have finally connected to the parts of you that can feed all of those dreams, all of those desires of your heart, all of that connection that you are yearning for. And here's another little special bonus. Any thoughts that you had about what is my purpose? Who am I? What am I doing here? This is where you find it. It's where it's been lingering and waiting for you. It is in these high vibrational frequencies of love. And there is where you are meant to live. And so I know that we're at the end of our time together, but if you would like to email me, you are welcome to. You can email me at, let's see, what would be the best one? I guess info@heartshiftcoach.com. And also, if you go to my website, which is HeartShiftCoach.com, I have some wonderful free resources for you. One of them is called Love is in the Air. And I think you've just experienced that. It's a sweet little ebook, and it takes you through yet another process of asking yourself questions. There's also a 5-day challenge, and it's called 2020 Hindsight to Foresight. And it's all about releasing that energy that has been imprisoned. It's there for you to utilize, to integrate into your life and become masterful at manifestation. And my podcasts are there. There's so much information, and I invite you to just spend some time. And if there's something there that you need, if there's something not there that you need, you just let me know, okay? And I'll make certain that you get what you need, because we're all in this together. And we are love incarnate. So I hope that you'll take everything that you experienced today and live full on.
Oh my gosh, Marcy, thank you so much. That was incredible. That was so powerful.
My greatest joy, my greatest honor and pleasure. And yeah, thank you so much for having me here today. I feel so blessed.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Yes, Sue says I was in tears. Yeah, I'm sure you're not the only one. Definitely. Lots of tears of whatever, wherever they come from, joy, grief, sorrow, gratitude. Thank you so much. I'm in another world, so and ground at the same
Stay
time.
there.
Yep.
Feed this world. This is the world where you have an effect on the rest of the world in a way that you want to be living. Absolutely. This is where we have to give. This is what we have to give and share. And so it's when we climb into these higher vibrational frequencies, we are then, what is that? You know, I can't even think myself in the moment, but it's when we get to experience what we really want in our hearts for ourselves and for everyone.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Marcy. And I'll see you all next week. I believe we have Bridget Brown coming, who's a master storyteller, and we're gonna learn about our own stories, and another beautiful experience, no doubt. So those of you that came today for the first time, please come back next week. And I really look forward to seeing you then. Major highlight of the week Marcy has one more thing to say. Of course, you're
I
going to get
do,
all of her
yeah.
information this afternoon.
Oh,
Go ahead.
great. Yeah, because I was just going to say, and if you're on Facebook, come and find me at HeartShift Coach. Actually, the HeartShift Coach. And I'm doing a project right now. It's called Grace to Gratitude. And so anyone who has a story of grace that has led to their hearts just opening with gratitude, I'd love for you to share it. So just let me know if you have one, and we'll do a little video and share it with the world.
I bet you've got some takers here. Yeah, all the information will come out this afternoon with the recording. Thanks to my beautiful administrative goddess. And have a beautiful day, everybody. See you soon. Mwah.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.